Welcome to Artist Books Unshelved. Today I am here to share Birds of Prey by Holland and Imagined Futures by Rafael Soldi. Both of these books feature perspectives from men reflecting on their pasts and futures in the contexts of the masculine cultures where they grew up. Holland is a visual artist and educator currently living in Alabama. Originally from Tennessee, Holland's artist books and sculptural works often explore the narrow definition of masculinity afforded by contemporary Southern culture. He regularly uses imagery and materials that reference hunting, which is usually regarded as a male recreation. One of the first things I notice about Birds of Prey is how sumptuous the leather cover is. The color and antlers focus my attention to the fact that this is animal. It is skin. Holland shared with me that the cover material was purposefully chosen to correspond to his own skin and connect the book to his body. The blind debossed frame on the title page evokes for me the image of a hunting lodge. I feel like I'm reading a volume plucked from the shelves of a nobleman's library. As we reach the first pages, however, I find myself in an even darker, more foreboding place. Holland's printing and handmade papers reinforce this feeling. He used a variety of printing techniques for this book, and the pressure printing gives a dreamlike atmosphere. The textures that result make the air between the branches feel thick and heavy. This creature feels familiar to me, but not exactly recognizable. Holland has appropriated images of deer armatures from taxidermy catalogs. He views himself in this deer. It moves quietly, sits attentively, until the vultures come. Throughout Birds of Prey, the perspective shifts between an observer viewing the deer and the deer's perspective looking up at the birds circling overhead. The pacing builds increasing tension. The rising action across these images is interspersed with blocks of text. These are excerpts from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, selected because Holland equates his relationship with his father to that of Dr. Frankenstein and his creation. Birds of Prey takes us on a journey through Holland's psychological landscape. I feel for the deer, who looks to have escaped today, but with what internal scars? The last line of the book opens my perspective. I never beheld anything so utterly destroyed. I leave Birds of Prey considering how narrow definitions of Southern masculinity can limit and even devastate an individual, families, communities, and society. Rafael Soldi is a Seattle-based artist and curator. Originally from Peru, he immigrated to the United States at 15 years old. Soldi's work often focuses on queerness and masculinity in relation to topics such as immigration, memory, and loss. Imagined Futures is a set of 50 self-portraits taken in photo booths. We notice right away that Soldi's eyes are closed in each photo. Closed eyes might bring hints of fear or hiding, but that's not what I feel from these photographs. I sense a calm and personal peace, like a pause at the end of a deep exhale. In the introduction, Soldi gives us a brief background of his experiences that led to imagined futures. He begins by sharing the resentment he felt growing up in the heteronormative patriarchal culture, where there was no space or role models for the queer artist he had already sensed within himself. As time passed and his life in the U.S. progressed, however, Soldi softened to his country of birth. He describes complicated feelings many immigrants carry of the emotional displacement, the curiosity and mourning for the unrealized lives they imagined for themselves before immigrating. For 2 years, Soldi stepped into photo booths he encountered around the world. Inside, he would bid farewell to one of his own imagined futures through a personal ritual as the camera shutter clicked. He relates this act to the Catholic confessional booth he entered many times as a child. Each of these portraits is a document that captures an act of mourning, thanks, and release. Imagined Futures was published in collaboration with Candor Arts, which was a publishing and bookbinding company in Chicago. When I first read through Imagined Futures, I overlooked the image inside the box. Soldi said that the text on the cover of the box is a verbatim text message he sent to Candor Arts, explaining why this photo should be in the book. I read this image as a lens shining light inside the camera body to expose the film or paper and make record of what it sees. These photographs have also been presented on the walls of traditional gallery spaces. As I spend time holding each image, I try to imagine how different the experience would be to take in all of these photographs at once. I think I am happier to be in this book than in the gallery. Lifting each page, pausing to look, setting it aside, and then moving on to the next page becomes my own repetitive action. It makes me feel a little more connected to the repeated ritual that Soldi engaged in to create these images. Birds of Prey brings us inside the tension of an emotional landscape, and Imagined Futures places us outside, but as witness to moments of personal release. Both of these books bring us deep inside the artist's psychological journeys as they reconcile their past and present cultures with their own unique, beautiful, and complex identities.